Okay, so we're going to do something slightly different now. We're going to look at my piece, which you might have gone through in class, but I'd like to do it here as well. Let's have a look at what we've got. So, um, the first section of your introduction. By the way, what you've done so far is you've read your piece once just to get an idea of what's going on. The second time you've read it to look for specific things like audience, arguments, etc. So you should know the basic outline of your piece. And then you've finished your reading time. You've spent 5 minutes writing, and you're going to start your introduction, which hopefully you should get through in 5 minutes or even less. And I'll show you why that's going to be possible. So the first section here is introduction to context. Now I think I've actually gone probably a bit too much here, as a result of a series of tragic drug-related deaths at music festivals in 2019. The issue of pill testing has re-entered the Australian political arena. That's enough for 99% of you. In fact, for all of you, that would be enough, honestly. If you wanted to add more, and I felt like I did when I wrote this because I knew it was going to be big. I thought I'd add two more sentences. One sentence talking about the affirmative side, and one sentence talking about the negative side. I just thought that would be worth something. And maybe I'm starting to disagree. Um, Both Mary Allen Harrod's Sydney Morning Herald article, Pill Testing Needs to Start Now, but it's not a silver bullet, January 14th, 2019, and Stacey Lee's Pill Testing Won't Lead to More People Taking Drugs, but might lead to some people deciding they don't want to. I'm introducing the articles here, and I'm doing everything, right? So I'm introducing their names, I'm introducing the publication, I'm introducing the text type. They're both articles, right? Oh, they might say cartoon in there if it was a cartoon, or a comment if it was a comment, right? I'm also introducing their contention, right? So I'm doing all that in one sentence. Um, so that's, it could be just two sentences so far, right? Easy to write two sentences, especially because, it's not complicated that. Harrod proposes pill testing as a part of a series of harm reduction measures already offered by organisation, DWI, which he readily promotes throughout our article. See the other videos if you're worried about what um, um, is happening with um, purpose. Lee, on the other hand, seeks to humanise younger festival attendees in order to encourage a middle-aged audience to empathise rather than demonise millennials. Okay, so that's fine. So it really shouldn't take you very long. All that is very straightforward. It's all straight from your um, um, uh, all is given to you, in your reading time. There's nothing there you have to really think about. So the only things that I've missed that you might want to put in is some indication of audience, and tone. People often look for in the introduction. Although I will say that for me, I find that tone changes with every argument. So I like to see tone in each of the topic sentences. Talk about how tone changes from topic sentence to topic sentence, or rather from argument to argument as you go through the article. But don't feel like that's necessary. You can quite convincingly talk about tone in your introduction. Okay, so let's start. My topic sentence. Uh, has the contention, seeks to frame pill testing as a health issue, right? I've added in the tone. So if you want to do that in your topic sentences, you can, but don't feel like it's necessary. What is absolutely necessary, what you cannot escape, what you must do is write the contention. Oh, sorry, the argument that you're going to address. Okay. So, in contrast to Lee, who begins her article with a personal passionate plea, Harrod rigidly defines pill testing in the first sentence. Now, I've begun with a comparison, and I'm still not very convinced by it. Seems like too early to do a comparison. I really should be doing comparison in the later paragraphs. It just felt right to me at the time, and it works okay. But that could certainly come a bit later. But here we go. Here's where the nuts and bolts start. Using phrases like submit a sample, chemical composition, and health intervention. I'm starting to state some evidence, aren't I? Harriet encourages her audience to feel reassured. How are they feeling? They're supposed to feel reassured. Why are they supposed to feel reassured? Because in their heads, they have this concrete image, this concrete mental image of a professional laboratory where highly accurate and scientific chemical analyses are being performed on drug samples in order to inform responsible members of society. Right? Why do we want them to be feel reassured by this? Why does the author care? Why is trying to promote this feeling of reassurance? Well, the reassurance is designed to dispel any concerns that readers might have about the effectiveness of drug testing. What I'm doing here is I'm using think, feel, do, aren't I? Right. So there's an image there. There's a concrete image in their heads of something. What are they supposed to feel about that image? What feelings does that image gives them, and why do we even want them to have that image, right? What are they supposed to do, right? As opposed to what's the intent? Why do we want them to have that? Harrod builds upon this. I love these kind of phrases. Builds upon this. As a result of this, doubles down on that. Take the first argument, take the first way that this author is making you feel, and then they do something with that. Make you feel afraid so that they can make you feel reassured that there's a solution. Make you feel comfortable and happy so then they can shock you with some whatever you're going to do, right? Make sure you can kind of figure that out. Harrod builds upon this with phrases like overdose, poisoning, emergency departments, and New South Wales Chief Health Officer Kerry Chant, so her audience understands that the program is medically necessary and recommended. Harrod's audience is left with feelings of calm confidence that medical intervention in the form of scientific testing is simple, practical, and realistic. I haven't done think, feel, do that. At least not all of it. I've done some feel and I had a little bit of think, but when you get better at it, you don't need to be so mechanistic, right? You can have a little bit of a think. What are they supposed to feel about this? What are they supposed to, and then kind of most importantly, why does the author want them to have that? I'm not going to be able to go through all of it, but there's sections in here. I want to point out the picture, right? Dance Spice is also mentioned in a small note under the main photograph of the Dance Spice Festival, which highlights Harrod's position that festival goers should be accepted rather than rejected, right? Look, what I want to be really clear that yeah, the photograph is mentioned in the topic sentence here, but this paragraph is about an argument. This paragraph is about how Harrod's position that festivals should be accepted rather than rejected. It's not just a paragraph describing the picture. All right, the photograph's use of bright colours, flags, balloons, and sensible sun-smart headwear asks Harrod's readers to imagine a clean, fun-loving group of youths whose only desire to listen to wholesome, life-affirming music. This is paired with phrases like accepting people where they're at, love and community. I think pairing the images with some text, really, a concrete that there's that the visual wasn't just placed there at random, right? It serves a persuasive purpose because it's linked to an argument, and that argument exists elsewhere in the text. So find some text that matches up to that visual, and then create that connection. So what are they supposed to do, right? They're supposed to be viewing, imagining the concrete image of people, of these life-affirming youths, right? And then how we're supposed to feel about that. All right, so let's we're going to skip that bit because I want to get to some comparison. Right, I suggest that when you finish the first text, your anchor text, and you start beginning with the second one, you begin that transition from the first to the second with a comparison, right? There's got to be comparison. So, let's do it. Harrod's tonal approach of authoritative concern mixed with indignant attacks is in contrast with Lee's warm amiability and gentle concern when she asks her middle-aged readers to humanize the young people of her generation. There's the argument, right? I've got that in there. It has to be in there. Can't reiterate enough. In every single topic sentence, there has to be, I'll waggle my finger at you on camera, right? There has to be an argument for every topic sentence, right? So make sure you have that. But now I've got a comparison between tone. Isn't that great? I love comparison between tone. The lowest level of comparison is between argument, right? This person argues this, and this person argues this. So who cares, right? I don't care, right? Well, I mean, I don't care a little. It's better than nothing. But wouldn't it be nice to compare how their tone is different? They have the same argument or a different argument even, but they affect a different tone. So this person is trying to be funny and this person is trying to be serious, or this person is trying to be this, or this person has authoritative concern and this person is amiable and gentle, right? And then the next one up is like to compare the actual argument. Sorry, the effect upon the author, upon the readers, right? Let's have a look. Lee uses phrases like, young people aren't stupid, we know the risks and we understand them, to remind readers that millennials are mostly intelligent and thoughtful. No comparison there. So I'm getting a bit worried. We should definitely have some comparison here. While Harrod takes on a paternal tone with her discussion of staying safe and accepting people, Lee asks her audience to imagine the experience of young people with truisms like, such as, the internet has so much information readily available that they're kidding themselves if they believe millennials are ignorant of the dangers. Okay, that's good. We've got a comparison, a little bit of a comparison of tone, but a lot of what that is actually a comparison of arguments. So, not exceptional. Let's move on. Despite this closeness, Lee also tries to establish that she is a young person, isn't a drug taker, and drug takers are a minority. There's the argument, right? I got that in the topic sentence. I'm feeling good about that. Where Harrod promotes staying safe while accepting drug users for those that were there, Lee is resigned to drug taking as opposed to accepting it. Right? This is an effect upon the reader. Right? Shows a daytime photo of the Lost Paradise festival with bright colours and jubilation, which is contrasted with Lee's choice of a night photo of the same festival filled with sharp edges and a sea of amorphous revelers. Right? To Lee, drug taking is inevitable and undesired. Her readers are to imagine a mosh pit in the mud with a plethora of drug affected teenagers who just need education and pill testing. We're starting to analyze the effect upon the reader, and that's a bit more kind of interesting. Yeah. Um, uh, let's just point to one more. Just as Harrod does at the end of her piece, Lee paints a picture of inactive government hesitating to save the lives of festival attendees. Again, this is just a comparison between argument. Additionally, whereas Harrod uses her evidence to support the effectiveness of her program, that's why Lee uses it to highlight this seemingly mysterious lack of action. That's the comparison of technique, isn't it? Right? They both use evidence, right? But they're using it for very different ways. Points out the pill testing might lead some people to stop taking drugs, but it won't cost blah blah blah. I don't know that's right. And that's it. It just ends, right? And it ends well because it ends at the end of the second uh, essay, right? We're finished. We feel like we're finished because I completely understand the first and I completely understand how that's compared to the second. I'm running out of time. 13 minutes. That's crazy. I hope you managed to get to the end of this. Yeah, what's my messages? At the topic sentence, make sure you got your argument. If you're doing comparison, when you do comparison, I should say, make sure you're comparing, argument, sure, but also the tone. Compare that tone, right? How's the tone different? And then compare techniques and compare the effect upon the readers. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I hope you go well on the sack. I'll talk to you when I do.